Hallöchen und herzlich willkommen zurück hier bei Let's Play Metal Gear Solid 5. Wir machen weiter. Oh, da kommt auch mehr. Heroismus haben wir auch noch bekommen in der letzten Mission. Weil wir so heldenhaft von allem gehasst wurden. Selbst von Zeus. Wir haben einen Blitz abbekommen, wir haben einen brennenden Wal hinter uns gehabt, ein brennendes, fliegendes Einhorn, einen brennenden Mann, der Raketen absorbieren konnte. Ach ja, eine rothaarige Mini-Version von Psycho Mantis. Nicht zu vergessen, dass wir 9 Jahre im Koma gerade waren und wir einen Arm verloren haben. So wie das uns Metall im Kopf steckt. Also ja. Ach ja, und irgendeine Armeeeinheit oder eine Gruppe Soldaten hat versucht, uns zu töten. Nachdem eine Frau versucht hat, uns zu töten. Noch was? Nein, ich glaube, das war's. Wir haben 3 Explosionen oder sowas abbekommen, aber das fällt da ja kaum noch auf in der Aufzählung.
The name's Ocelot. Big boss. You know who I am. A certain man gave me a job to do. 2, actually. First was to get you out of that hospital. The second was to rescue the man himself. You remember? Your partner 9 years ago, Kazuhira Miller. 9 years back, your private army came under attack by Cypher. You were considered dead. Until today, that is, when Cypher found you. And it's not just them. The whole world wants you dead. You'll have to join up with Miller. Build that private army of yours one more time. It's your only chance. First, we need to save Miller. He's in Afghanistan.
Afghanistan?
What, you can't keep up with world affairs in a coma? 4 years ago, the Soviets invaded Afghanistan. The Muslims are fighting back with Western support. Miller was training Mujahideen rebels when he was captured by the Soviets. The Red's 40th Army. Troop strength somewhere around 100,000. The squad holding Miller set off near the Pakistan border yesterday. Now in 3 days, they'll reach the Soviet garrison. They'll be interrogated for a few more days, and it's off to a lager. Or left to rot in a ditch on Afghan soil. I give him 2 weeks. The job didn't mean anything to Miller. He only took it on to keep you safe. Well, there's our ride. It's a whaling ship. Had a pretty good deal on her once the IWC started raising a stink. Now it's 7 days to Port Qasim, another 3 overland. So we won't have much time once we're there. Don't take too long getting used to your new self. Hang on. Ha!
Man kriegt schon ein wenig Gänsehaut. Gerade wenn man ewig warten muss, um das Spiel zu spielen, weil der alte PC immer abgestürzt ist, sobald man auf Starten gedrückt hat. Kapitel 1. Rache. Belohnungen. Ocelots Missionsbesprechung 1, der brennende Mann 1 und Musikkassette 2. Okay. Und ein Flammenemblem. Episode 1. Phantomglieder.
The area ahead is under total Soviet control. Miller's been captive for 10 days. Not much time left.
Weather will clear shortly.
Storm's passing. Getting used to it?
In der Trainingsmontage war der Arm aber noch gelb und hatte nur 4 Finger. Wann hat sich das geändert?
After 9 years on ice, solo infiltration of the Soviet main ground forces. Should be the perfect one. Kazuhira Miller is being held in Dahar to the north. Check its location now. Take out your iDroid.
Oh, es ist so hübsches Spiel. Aber ja, okay.
You
Ui.
see Wandy on the map? That's where they're keeping Miller. Only problem is we don't know his exact location. Finding it is your first priority.
Wir können ranzoomen. Okay, das ist also eine kleine Ansammlung von Häusern. So wie ich das sehen kann. Was können wir noch? Wir können mit dem rechten Stick so stufenweise zoomen. Mit dem linken Stick können wir zwischen unserer aktuellen Position einfach der Mitte der Map umschalten. Ocelot, ich gucke. So, wir können... das ist so ein kleines Navi oder eine Minimap irgendwie benutzen. Wir können mit dem Steuerkreuz... die Karte machen, dass sie sich mit uns mitdreht. Wir können Satellitenkarten und Satellitenkarten ohne Mitbewegung machen. Ich glaube, das mag ich am meisten. Das lassen wir erstmal. So, Otacon, hast du dich jetzt beruhigt? Wenn ja, werde ich jetzt dieses Menü verlassen. Aber auch nur, wenn du dich beruhigt hast. Nein, ich gucke in die falsche Richtung. Das da? Das, was so blinkt?
If you see something through the binoculars and you need more information, just give me a call. I'll tell you anything I can about it. That's Violo Village, the Violo Calais. The villagers fled the war and evacuated a while back. Since then, it's become a base for the Soviets' 40th Army. A few days ago, Miller was taken through there, en route towards Dahar. You may be able to pick up the trail there. It's worth a shot. Put a marker on it so you don't lose track of where it is.
Marker mache ich mit, linken Trigger.
Good. Now you won't have to worry about getting lost along the way. You can't have much left in him. I give him 3 days, tops. If we fail, and he dies, we lose our chance of revenge. But we need more intel. If you just go charging into Doandehar, you'll be putting both your lives at risk. See what you can find out first. The Soviets have other outposts, not just the one you saw. Afghanistan is a big place. I expect you'll become quite familiar with those binoculars as you plan your next move. How and where you make it, well, that's up to you. From here on out, you're on your own. You're a legend in the eyes of those who live on the battlefield. That's why you have to handle this mission yourself. Put those 9 years behind you, and return as Big Boss. That's how Koss would want it. I'll be sending additional intel by radio. Stay sharp. Not one of Miller's bodyguards survived. And they were good. All we found on the scene were their corpses and knees. You'll be missing them. And you're his only hope of getting them back. Now go! Let the legend come back to life.
Uiuiui. Hä? Ocelot ist also schon mal verschwunden und ist... Oh, ich bin wirklich überwältigt davon, wie schön dieses Spiel aussieht. Ihr müsst euch vorstellen, das Spiel ist ja jetzt schon eine Weile draußen. Ihr habt das wahrscheinlich jetzt schon zu Genüge gesehen. Ich noch nicht. Ich habe mich tatsächlich versucht, sehr informationslos zu machen. Also ich hab die Trailer gesehen, ich glaube aber auch nicht alle. Ich habe ansonsten... Ich glaube auch... Nee, ich habe keine Reviews gesehen. Ich habe ein paar Bewertungen halt in Zahlen irgendwo mal gelesen, aber ich bin ziemlich spoilerfrei und ich habe wirklich sehr lange darauf gewartet, es spielen zu können. Und was wir jetzt natürlich als erstes machen, sollte klar sein, wo ich so ewig darauf warten musste, dieses Spiel zu spielen. Wir hören uns ein paar Kassetten an. Denn ja, vor jeder Mission, oder nicht vor jeder, aber wir können in die Mission Kassetten hören. Wir können, ich glaube, so ein Briefing, Missionsbriefing, ist das Missionsbesprechung? Also eine Einweisung in die Mission bekommen und ich möchte das auf jeden Fall machen. Zumindest mal am Anfang noch, ob ich das im Nachhinein dann durchziehe und mir immer die Kassetten anhören möchte. Vielleicht interessiert es mich ja auch irgendwann einfach nicht mehr, aber derzeit tut's das noch. Ich hoffe, damit seid ihr einverstanden. Ansonsten müsst ihr leider ein anderes Let's Play gucken, aber falls nicht, falls ihr damit einverstanden seid, dann freue ich mich, wenn wir das gemeinsam machen. Ich werde aber auf jeden Fall das versuchen, am Ende von irgendwelchen Videos zu machen, damit ihr jetzt, falls ihr vielleicht hier weiter zugucken wollt, aber jetzt nicht unbedingt Bock auf die Kassetten habt, dann könnt ihr jetzt ausmachen und in der nächsten Folge einfach wieder einschalten. Da werden wir dann beim nächsten Mal erst anfangen mit dieser Mission. Jetzt wisst ihr Bescheid. Drücken wir Play bei der ersten Kassette. Basis auf britischem Hoheitsgebiet Dekelia.
You were hospitalized in Dekelia, a British sovereign base area on Cyprus. It's part of British overseas territory that falls outside of Cypriot jurisdiction. You got moved from Cuba's Little America right into Cyprus's Little Britain.
Why Dekelia?
The UK and the US remain close allies. The last place Cypher would think to look for you is inside their own system. That's what kept you safe in British military hospital for 9 years. The safest place from a whale is inside its own belly. You were a regular Geppetto.
Well, it wasn't Pinocchio who led me out to safety. So who was that guy?
Cypher went so far as to attack British territory, burning their own ally. That's how badly they wanted you dead.
He said I was in a British military hospital. But the doctor had a Greek accent.
They hire locally. Easier to trust them. Dekelia is also home to Greek Cypriots, after all.
What about the Turks? They haven't returned to the south.
Not yet. The Cyprus dispute is still a long way from resolved. The country is just as split as it was in '74. Turkish Cypriots in the north, Greek Cypriots in the south. Between them, the Green Line, the UN established.
And Dekelia sits right on top of it.
It does. Part of the buffer zone between the two groups. Another reason it was the perfect place to hide you. Easy to spot any outsiders snooping around.
So how do things stand?
Now, last year, the Turks declared that the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus is an independent state, though it's only Turkey that recognizes it. In the past, the Greeks and Turks lived side by side in the same villages. There are reasons to fight. Those came from the outside. Greece, Turkey, Britain, America, they all had their own stake in pitting the two sides against each other. But once you spark something like this, it's impossible to control. Both sides build up grudges like debt, without the foresight to see that each act of revenge just fans the flames. And then it's too late for other nations to rush in with peace talks. The embers keep on smoldering. Each nation's arrogance only breeds anarchy. The world is paralyzed by this hunger for revenge. Cyprus is no different. You're up.
We're changing ships?
We can't go sailing the Suez in a whaler.
The Suez Canal. When did they reopen it?
Not long after you were attacked. Once they finished sweeping it for mines after the Arab-Israeli conflict. Can you stand? We're going to transfer to a container ship for passage through the Suez. Our destination is Pakistan, Afghanistan's neighbor to the south. There we disembark and head via Peshawar to the Zero Line, the border. We'll travel to the Khyber Pass by road.
And then?
We continue on horseback. Afghanistan's main roads are under Soviet control. We'll need to go around them. It'll be all narrow, winding paths through the mountains. We'll do better on horseback. It's a local guerrilla tactic. They use the higher ridges to avoid air recons. Then they charge down the mountains for ambushes. The Soviets still haven't devised a counter-strategy. Our time frame is only half as much as we really need. It's gonna be a tough march.
Better horses than boats.
Well, it'll make for good physiotherapy. Take the time to get used to that new arm.
While the Soviets have indicated they are not participating in the Los Angeles Olympics, primarily because the United States has made no attempt to guarantee the safety of the Soviet Union's athletes, the United States is increasingly demonstrating the belief that the issue has nothing to do with its preparations, and in fact this is retaliation for the Western nations' boycott of the previous Moscow Olympics. That concludes today's news.
That's quite some news.
The Soviet Union not attending the LA Olympics? Yeah. Andropov's death has changed some things. They're calling it revenge for the Western boycott of the Moscow Olympics.
Countries boycotted the Moscow Olympics?
Yes. In protest of the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan. Over 50 countries were absent. It's too bad I didn't get to see Yamashita's judo. When the 40th Army crossed the Amu River 4 years ago, détente went right out the window. The U.S. Congress chose not to ratify SALT II, and Reagan's hardline politics won in the presidency in a landslide. According to him, the Soviet Union's an evil empire.
A second Cold War.
And there's been no end to regional conflicts and civil wars. Lebanon, the Falklands, Grenada, Iran, Iraq. The story never changes.
Egypt and Israel did sign a peace treaty. But then the driving force on the Egyptian side, President Sadat, was assassinated afterward. Apparently his actions were considered a betrayal of his fellow Arabs. Islamic extremists?
Yes. Fundamentalist extremists have been responsible for some bold acts of terrorism in recent years.
We've had extremist students in Iran take U.S. embassy workers hostage, and suicide bombings in Lebanon. Over 300 foreign soldiers stationed there have been killed.
The countries have yet to develop an effective means of dealing with terrorism. Afraid of losing their own men, they've pulled their forces out, handing private forces a golden opportunity.
Private forces?
Small armies with no national affiliation, working for the highest bidder. That's right, they got the idea from you. After Mother Base went down, they began spreading to meet the soaring demand. Miller's organization is just one of many PFs now. The entire world is after you. But at the same time, it needs you too. Miller told me about what happened in the Caribbean 9 years ago. You do remember Miller. You'd formed a private army with him. An army with no allegiance to a nation.
I remember, but...
I see. You're not sure what's fact and what's a fantasy caused by the coma. It's still all a mess, huh? All I can do is tell you the facts as they were told to me. I've gone easy on you up until now, but this is where the hard stuff begins. 1974, the year before you entered your coma. You were in Colombia, operating with a small unit of men, basically mercenaries. Miller was among them. Miller was trying to find a way to turn his and your talents into a line of work. He was looking to start a business where you would fight on behalf of others around the world, those who needed military force. But the reality was, at that time, you didn't have enough gear to equip your own men. Then Miller came across this client. It was a huge job he was offering, but you had a shot at pulling it off. You accepted it and headed into Costa Rica. The client even threw in an offshore facility in the Caribbean. The mother base, that would be your new base of operations. Miller sure did have a head for business. As your mission went on, your unit grew and grew. More weapons, more money. Before you knew it, you were commanding 300 men. As the organization got bigger, your military powers swelled to match. It got so the international community couldn't afford to ignore you. You were just too damn successful for your own good. You, your men, had worn out your welcome. Everyone was out for you. East, West, First World, Third. It was only a matter of time before someone took you down. And that was XOF. Officially, they're an anti-terror unit under the CIA. In reality, they're Cypher's private strike force. They lured you to Cuba using Chico, the Nicaraguan revolutionary kid, and Paz, a mole who worked for Cypher as bait. While you were gone, XOF, posing as a nuclear inspection team, stormed Mother Base. At the same time, C4 they placed on the strut legs went off. The whole thing went down in minutes. XOF. Kisses and hugs followed by a big FU. All because of Miller's blind spot. A back door into Mother Base no one suspected. You remember a certain scientist. Huey was responsible for bringing the inspection team on board, giving the enemy a perfect opportunity to hit you at home. You were returning from Cuba when it happened. Mother Base came damn close to taking you with it into the Caribbean. Those of your men out on assignment returned right away. They refused to believe the wreckage in the water they found was Mother Base. But they checked the coordinates again and again, until reality finally settled in. You were supposed to die that day. That was XOF's primary objective. As far as most folks know, you did. The first doctor to see you wasn't even sure what he was looking at. Before they'd even finished operating, your men moved you to that hospital in Cyprus. It was a woman named Eva who arranged that. Rings a bell, huh? Most men in your condition would have been written off right from the start. But you survived. You went straight down to hell, and they pulled you out. Your eye wide open. Full of venom. The days of naked Snake are long gone. Welcome back, Venom Snake. This world still needs you. Here, Snake, try this on.
A prosthetic arm.
Yeah, Miller was calling it the arm that wasn't there. The physiotherapy's going well. Your arm's bulked up enough for it to fit. There. Perfect. A little time with it, and it'll work better than the real thing. What do you think?
Huh. I can still feel my real arm.
Well, you better get used to this one quick. You have any pain?
Every now and then.
Where?
My fingertips. My left fingertips.
Sounds like phantom pain. Your brain still remembers your old hand.
Yeah.
What about your vision? Can you see okay?
Yeah, at the moment.
Now, the shrapnel in your skull is pressing on your optic nerve. I'm told any hard impact could have an effect on your visual cortex.
Yeah, the doctor mentioned that.
Your brain might process visual information incorrectly. In other words, you could have hallucinations. You might see things that aren't there, or not see things as they really are. You experience any of that?
I think so.
When?
Right after I wake up. Colors look faded.
Colors, huh? Well, that's not a major concern in and of itself, but it could mean the difference between life and death in the field. You'll need to watch out for that.
I will.
All right. You should continue your physio. We'll be arriving soon. It's the last chance you'll get.
Da war auch ein brennender Wal, ein brennendes, fliegendes Einhorn, ein kleiner rothaariger, schwebender Mann mit Gasmaske, ein brennender Typ, der Schüsse absorbiert und abgeschossen hat und generell sehr, sehr viel, was deutlich auffälliger ist, als dass die Farben ein bisschen verblasst sind oder sonst was. Naja, Snake hat komische Prioritäten. Hören wir uns nochmal was zu diesem besagten brennenden Mann an.
Snake, I wanted to ask you about the man on fire. What do you remember from the hospital? Anything we can use?
Well, he took off the moment the sprinklers started up.
Sprinklers? The fire system?
And when he got sprayed with water from the burst pipe, it slowed him down.
When we escaped on horseback, he wouldn't cross the river either.
And then it started to rain. And he disappeared.
Water against fire. Is it that simple? I mean, it makes sense. It's just hard to believe it would work on a guy like that.
Ja, ist ein berechtigter Kommentar. Ja, das sind immer die Informationen, die es hier gibt. Wie da oben auch steht, Informationen vor Mission anhören. Würde ich tatsächlich auch so halten wollen, dass wir einfach zu Beginn einer Mission uns erstmal alle Infos reinsaugen und danach dann in Ruhe durchspielen. Nicht, dass wir mitten während des Spielens oder so die Kassetten hören, was wir auch könnten. Wir könnten sie anmachen und dann spielen, aber das lenkt mich ab. Dann kann ich mich nicht richtig auf die Kassetten konzentrieren. Dann kann ich mich gleichzeitig auch nicht richtig auf Spielen konzentrieren. Außerdem höre ich die Wachen nicht oder die Soldaten, die hier rumlungern. Also werde ich das so halten, wie ich es gerade gemacht habe. Ansonsten bei Kassetten haben wir noch Musikkassetten, Musikinhalte. Was ist denn das? Musikinhalte, sind das einfach... Ich weiß nicht so richtig, was das ist. Also schon keine Zeit, wie lange es läuft. Ist das einfach Hintergrundmusik quasi, die in Gebieten ist? Weil bei Musikkassette 1 und 2, da sind richtige Lieder. Ah nee, da ist Hands auch. Ist das dasselbe? Ja. Okay, dann weiß ich nicht, warum da Musikinhalte steht. Welche Lieder haben wir noch? Das haben wir jetzt schon. The Man Who Sold the World. Das lief ganz am Anfang. Ich finde, das klingt großartig. Steht hier auch irgendwo? Warum steht hier? Das irritiert mich. Kojima ist immer sonst sehr bedacht darauf, dass während Musik läuft, irgendwo der Name des Künstlers und so eingeblendet wird. Hier im Kassettenrekorder steht das tatsächlich nirgends, oder? Ist von David Bowie, soweit ich das weiß. Kann man das vielleicht... Alles 1. Ah, okay, da kann man einfach Repeat anmachen. Ja, machen wir jetzt aber auch nicht zu viel davon. Nicht, dass die GEMA unnötig provoziert wird. Ich will mal kurz alles anklicken. Ah ja, der Walkürenritt. Den hatte ich in Ground Zero sehr oft einfach als meine Musik für den Helikopter eingestellt. Denn wenn man mit einer Mission fertig war, konnte man ja das Missionsgebiet verlassen. Über einen Helikopter, und sobald der dann angeflogen kam, hat man dann schon angefangen, diese Musik zu hören. Das ist sehr großartig gewesen, gerade wenn man Scheiße gespielt hat und die halbe Soldatenschaft hinter einem her war und man zum Helikopter rennt und dann fängt einfach dieser Ritt der Walküren an. War ein sehr schönes Gefühl. Ja, generell wie der Gedanke, dass ich jetzt endlich dieses Spiel spielen kann, das ist auch ein sehr schönes Gefühl. Aber das machen wir erst beim nächsten Mal. Ihr müsst euch auch noch einen Part gedulden. Ich spiele gleich sofort weiter. Hehe. Was ist das? Y? Achso, da können wir das Pferd verlassen. Ich will aber wieder rauf. So. Beim nächsten Mal geht's dann weiter mit... Oder vielleicht auch geht's erst richtig los, wenn man das so sagen möchte. Mit und bei Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantomglieder mit mir, eurem Vogel. Macht's gut. Tschüss.